Sloping roofline SUVs and crossovers, love them or hate them, they've become a very, very popular segment, but it was Infiniti that took the segment by storm with the amazing Infiniti FX until that kind of died out and disappeared. Well, today I'm testing a model that brings Infiniti back to that segment. My name is Omar, and today I'm testing the 2022 Infiniti QX55. I still remember the first time I drove the Infiniti FX in the early 2000s. It looked completely different from everything else out there. Here was an SUV crossover that wasn't going on and on about going off-roading or utility. It was all about style and performance. It looked extremely sporty, which was unusual for an SUV and crossover back in those days, but it also had the power to back it up. The FX was built on Nissan's FM platform, which also underpinned the Nissan 350 and 370Z. Not only that, you had two trims to pick from, a 303 horsepower Infiniti FX35 and the Infiniti FX50, which was powered by a V8 pumping out 390 horsepower. The V8 powered FX50 would do 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds, and it also handled like a beast. At that time, Infiniti had the slogan "Inspired Performance," and they had the lineup to match it. Well, things are a little different today. The QX55 that I'm testing here only offers you one engine choice, which is a 4-cylinder turbo engine, although you do get standard all-wheel drive, but we'll talk about performance later. First, let's kick it off by talking about this gorgeous exterior design. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. I've always been a fan of Infiniti's exterior design, and their new design language is just that much better. For those of you that don't know the Infiniti FX, the easiest way to explain the QX55 is that it's just a sloping roofline coupe looking version of the QX50. And for those of you that do know the FX, Infiniti says that this is a modern interpretation of that legendary crossover SUV. Let's start with the front. You have Infiniti's signature double arch hood that gives this thing a very bold and handsome stance. And then you have a really nice shiny giant grille that Infiniti says was inspired by the folds of Japanese origami. And to round it off from the front, you have slim headlamps that are apparently designed to mimic the human eye. From the side, you can see the sloping roofline, and all QX55 models come standard with 20-inch wheels that actually look really nice. But my favorite part about the exterior design of the QX55 has to be the rear end. It looks so boss and so tough from the back, and the best part are these awesome taillights. Infiniti calls these the digital piano keys, and they're taken from the QX60 monograph concept. These are definitely the best looking taillights I've seen in a while. In my opinion, when it comes to sloping roofline coupe looking SUVs, the QX55 is probably one of the best looking out there. Now let's check out the inside. It's actually quite nice in here. I like the layout of everything in here quite a bit. Most of the layout is driver centric. The quality and the use of materials here is really nice, but it's not as unique as the ones you see on Audi, BMW, or Mercedes-Benz. Although these seats are extremely, extremely comfortable. You can get the QX55 in 3 trims, including Luxe, Essential, and Sensory. Luxe comes standard with leatherette seating. Then the Essential and the Sensory will give you real leather seats. You get heated and cooled seats on Essential and the Sensory trims, along with a heated steering wheel to keep yourself warm while driving. Hop into the second row and you have 38.7 inches of legroom back here, and it's not bad at all. And the second row, like with most SUVs and crossovers these days, moves forward and back a total of 6 inches. So if you want more cargo room or more legroom, you can adjust the second row. So yeah, you have the legroom, but what about the cargo capacity? You have 27 cubic feet behind the second row, and if you fold the second row down, you have a massive 54 cubic feet. Now, when it comes to the tech, it's pretty much the same thing here as the QX50. There's no digital gauge cluster display. You just have a standard analog gauge cluster with a tiny screen in the middle with some info, and all trims come standard with the in-touch infotainment system with dual screens. Personally, I'm not really a fan of dual screen infotainment systems. They kind of bother me, and this one here isn't that exciting in terms of design and features and gimmicks. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. When you go for the Essential and Sensory, you also get navigation as standard. And then you have a really nice Bose sound system on the Essential and the Sensory models. It's a very nice sound system, not bad at all. Now, before I give you my final thoughts on the Infiniti QX55, let me point out a few random things that I'll have to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front, and then you have 2 in the back right there in the center armrest. Here are what the keys look like to the Infiniti QX55. Nothing too crazy. Lock, unlock, the trunk, panic button, and you have remote start, so that's pretty cool. Let's start it up. Nice. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. pretty solid. When it comes to the charging game, you have a USB port right there and a USB-C port right there. You don't have a wireless charger, so that sucks. You also have a USB port right here under the armrest. Rear passengers only get one USB port, so they will have to fight over who gets to charge their phone. And let's do a quick indicator and horn sound test here on the 2021 Infiniti QX55. Indicator first. Nothing too crazy. Horn sound, let's hear it. Ooh, pretty solid. I like it. So in the beginning of the video, I mentioned how Infiniti's slogan used to be inspired performance. Is the performance of the QX55 at all inspired by the FX from back in the day? Not at all. Actually, it's quite uninspiring. The only engine option that you have is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine making 268 horsepower, and it's mated to a CVT transmission. Nissan seems to be very committed to CVT transmissions. When it comes to 0 to 60, this thing will do it in about 6.5 seconds or so. Handling wise, it's just kind of there. Drive modes wise, you have personal, sport, standard, and eco. In sport mode, this thing will accelerate a little bit faster. The revs will go up higher. The steering wheel doesn't get as tight or anything. There's no change there at all. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, you get 22 city and 28 highway. You have a 16-gallon tank capacity. I'm averaging, after a couple days of driving, a total of 23 miles a gallon. Not bad at all. Looks wise, this is an outstanding successor to the FX. Performance wise, it doesn't even hold a candle to it. And that may be because times and the market is changing. A lot of the buyers in this segment don't really care for 5-liter V8s or really sharp handling. A majority of them just want a really nice, luxurious SUV to get them from point A to point B. And when it comes to that, the QX55 will do the trick really well. Beyond the lack of performance and the lack of innovative and gimmicky tech, the QX55 is definitely a great option for somebody shopping in the luxurious crossover SUV segment. That seems to be the case with all the Japanese brands, luxury or mainstream. They've started caring less and less about performance, more about hybrids and fuel economy. I mean, look at Toyota. They went to BMW to make the new Supra. And that's not a bad thing. A lot of the buyers in this segment don't care about 0 to 60 times, but I do see a lot of M50Is, M's, or AMG 43s or AMG 63 versions of these luxury crossovers and SUVs, even the RS Q8, the SQ8. You do have those choices. So why not hop in there a little bit? Don't think of this as a successor to the Infiniti FX. Think of it as just a more stylish and cooler looking QX50. Nonetheless, I don't think it would be a bad decision for Infiniti to offer additional engine choices for the QX55 because this segment is packed with some high performance options. All I'm saying is that if you're gonna make something this good looking, you should go all in and offer additional engine choices for those that want to go a little bit faster. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit like, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Peace. By the way, this thing turned a lot of heads the week that I had it. Everybody turned around and looked at it and was like, whoa, that thing is super good looking.